Time between work and more work.
On the new 95.1, The Fox.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Your World of Rock. This week will mark the anniversary of Eric Clapton's return to active duty, so to speak. We'll take a look at the release of The Who's first big hit. Birthdays, too, for Elvis Presley, David Bowie, Jimmy Page, and Rod Stewart. And our co-host and special guest this week is the elusive Geddy Lee of Rush. This week also marks the release there, and we'll be right back. We've got an anniversary for Rush, because on 1/8/79 in January 1979, Rush was named the Canadian Ambassadors of Music by the Canadian government, no less. And it just so happens Geddy Lee will be my special guest in the next hour, so don't go away.
Welcome to Perfection.
Fox.
Hi, this is Scott Muni on the World of Rock, and coming up in this hour, Geddy Lee of Rush. Welcome, Geddy Lee.
Thank you.
Nice to see you again. You got a new album. As a matter of fact, what we're going to do while you're here, and you're going to help me because you're going to have to introduce some of the songs. Basically, you're going to have to talk about a tour coming up, because, and we don't need a note from home because, and I'm not sure everybody knows who Ray Daniels is.
Well, he's our manager, in case you don't.
And he's not here, but, I said, Ray, it has been, for me, a little long to wait. And I don't want to blame it on changing of labels or anything else like that. And he said, no. The guys are very careful, and of course, that takes time to work out details and all that sort of thing, but that has nothing to do with it. You guys like to make sure it's exactly what you want in a new album.
Well, yeah, it takes time to do it right, and this time around we spent a little extra longer in the writing stage, because, we kind of feel that's really the key stage to get it right.
Well, it is, but I really don't, at least my own observation, because I'm outside looking in at you guys, but I think that's always been a careful thing. It's, you guys don't do anything in a hurry. I mean, your tours and the albums and everything that you've decided to do is always done very carefully. I mean, you have fun and take your time when you're writing, and sometimes it's within the same area. And then you get together. I mean, you're doing some music.
That's right.
And somebody comes over and you got some words to work with and this and all that, but nothing comes easy because you guys want it to be just right.
Sure, and this time about, it really was a lot of fun, because before we did get together to start writing, we had about, 4 or 5 months apart, and, away from music and to get involved in other things, and it was really kind of exciting when we did get back together, because, we'd had this long break and we were all kind of energized, and we all came back with a new energy to work together, and surprisingly similar goals on what we wanted to achieve with this album. So we were pretty pleased.
You know what, Geddy, what we'll do, let's play the single that came out first, and let's talk about what happens when you have a new producer. Guest and good friend here is Geddy Lee of Rush, and we'll get into the first thing that we had a chance to hear, and we're going to do some more from the album. Geddy, again, you guys, Neil and Alex and yourself and all, have worked a little bit on this album with someone new in the production idea. Do they, people like that, you want to talk about the producer a little bit and how?
Yeah, sure. We worked with an English gentleman named Rupert Hine, and who's actually got quite a reputation from a lot of his different projects, namely producing The Fix and Tina Turner and Stevie Nicks, and on and on and on and on. He's done a lot of records, and also as a musician in his own right. He's quite a talented guy and did a lot of records on his own, and more recently an effort of an English conglomeration called Think Man. And he was originally suggested to us quite a few years ago, and we tried to get together to do Grace Under Pressure together, but at that time scheduling didn't quite work out. So I think we both still wanted to do something at some point if the opportunity ever arose, and it did with this record. So we called each other up and said, hey, maybe we should get together and see about doing this record together. And he came down, and we got on very well, and it was it was a go. And
yeah, because he would know you, but I mean, you guys as a unit are very much together. But I think you probably feel too, it's good to have someone who really knows you and knows music and all that to sort of point you sometimes.
I think it's impossible for us to be objective, and you need somebody else in there, if nothing else, to be the kind of deciding vote in case you're deadlocked on which way to go with this, that, and the other. And he had a real, to my mind, a real strong background in producing vocals, which is an area that we wanted to concentrate on this album and try to do some different things and to try to get a few more kinds of melodies and pay a little more attention to the kind of lyrics and melodies that sort of roll out a little more easily, and to fine-tune that area of the band. And also, he's got such a background in so many different kinds of progressive rock through the years that he's kind of well known for his more recent things like Tina Turner and that, but people forget that really he's been around a long time, and he's quite well versed in progressive rock music. So he seemed like a really good choice.
Did you guys do most of this in Canada?
Yeah, we did all the writing there, and we recorded most of it there, which was a nice change to be home. And with the exception of mixing, which we did in London, and we spent about 3.5 weeks doing that there.
The title of the album is quite, what's one worder?
Presto.
Yeah, so is there a reason for Presto?
Sure, I can talk about that a bit. Actually, Presto is a title that came up. It was one of the suggestions for the live album, for the Show of Hands album. And we liked it a lot because of the whole kind of magical thing that seems to be going down at a rock concert, and especially if you've got one going that's good and you feel good about the performance and the crowd is right there. There's a sense of magic in the air, and there's kind of almost a sense, it's an illusionary sense of what's happening on the screens and what's going on around. And it seemed suitable for the live show, but we leaned towards a Show of Hands. We sort of like that one better. So the title stuck around. And I think it's the first time we've done that with an album where we just liked the second choice so much that when it came time to do this album, we thought, well, I think that magic still applies to recording and songwriting, and you can apply that to a lot of different things. So I think the title works, and we just like the word a lot, and fortunately the graphics, I think, really helped pull off that feeling, that kind of magical feeling.
There's a title in the album that it just seems like it has to be there. Superconductor and all that. And what's that about?
Well, that's a kind of interesting look at the people that go up there to entertain us, and the kind of the big guys, the guys and girls. It's not just limited to males, but the stars and the kind of things that people do to pump themselves up and to put that big face on in the name of entertainment. So it kind of deals with that whole charade.
While we have Geddy here, we have a number of things that if you were in the band, and here are these thousands of people in attendance saying what song they wanted you to play. I mean, it's tough. The tour is coming, isn't it?
Tour is coming.
Yeah.
We're planning it now. We're starting to get the machinery all geared up. Hopefully, I think the first date will be sometime early February in the southern part of the United States,
where the weather will cooperate.
Where the weather will be a little warmer, and we'll be able to get things together a little pleasurably.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, we'll be able to include enough songs from the various records that keep everybody happy, or most of them happy anyway.
So that you get the Show of Hands. Yes.
Yeah, we get all that in there.
And the new stuff and blend it together, because it is difficult, isn't it? Because what you've done collectively, that you guys know that it's impossible to do all of it, but...
well, that's it. There's so many albums to cover, and of course you're most excited about the newer things, and you want to get a lot of that in, but you don't want to ignore your past completely. But when you got 13 or 14 albums out, how many ever we've got out now, it's hard to represent all those records and still get off stage, in a couple of hours.
You know what? What's really amazing is most groups don't have that many albums for the amount of years because, the group has been prolific because usually you'll find there's a spot in there where for 3 years or 2.5 years, like say Bruce took a break in there and didn't do anything for 2.5 years, but yours is almost averaging out one a year.
Yeah, we've been pretty consistent. I mean, the last few years it's kind of like every 18 months, 2 years, absolute max, but I don't know what it is. Maybe you just can't help going to work.
Pick something out that you might be playing live that people would recognize. I think we...
Yeah, we've got this song that we get a lot of requests for, and it's a song that came off a Moving Pictures album that we didn't play for a few years because we didn't think we could pull it off, and then we realized suddenly down the road that we had all this technology that we could pull it off. So we brought it back into the show on the last tour, and it's a song called Witch Hunt.
Some live witch hunt for you on the World of Rock. This is Scott Muni and Geddy Lee, and we'll be right back after this. This is Scott Muni along with Geddy Lee on the World of Rock. And Geddy, why don't you pick something else off the new album and introduce it for us? Anything you'd like.
Well, this is one of my favorite songs on the album, and in a way, it's one of my favorite songs that we've ever written. There's something about the writing of the song that was particularly, emotional to me. The combination of the way the melodies fell together and how sensitive I think the lyrics are. I really think it's one of the best lyrics that Neil has ever written. And I think as a songwriter, I'm particularly proud of this one. I think it was kind of a breakthrough for us. And this is called The Pass.
Now, Geddy, you and Neil and Alex are going to get together and start rehearsal soon and start a tour in February in the southern parts of America, and then probably be up here by warm weather, do you think, in the New York and Northeast area?
Yeah, I'm sure by early spring we'll be up here.
What are you planning to do with the tour? Is this going to be an extended tour, as most of the Rush tours are? You're going to go, right?
We're hoping to extend it into the summer, and I don't know how far we'll go yet. It's still early days, and it's been a while since we've been out there on the road, so we're going to kind of pace ourselves a little slower, so hopefully we'll be able to cover most of the country in the time that we have allotted.
Then would you probably take a bit of a break before you start a worldwide thing?
Yeah, I hope so. As yet, we're not really sure how to approach that, but there's some talk about going over to Europe again, and all that is still, I guess, to be discussed.
By nature of geography and all, that is a whole different ballgame because of the different venues and the way they're laid out, that you'd have to do a different type of tour, where here you can, there are enough big places where you have to be where it can kind of work together. It's not really true that way with transportation and
no, you're absolutely right.
Other things in Europe. So I didn't really mean to do that, but that's the main thing everybody wanted to know, and there's so many wonderful fans of yours, and I just wanted to say something because you wouldn't know this, but your manager gave me a little statement, which was a little frightening, but I think Rush fans should know this, that the group never missed a sound check for a concert. And when you think about that, as I do, you folks who go to concerts and I go to concerts, and we're not really up on the stage performing, but when a group is, that's why the group has the reputation they do have when they're performing live. So everybody's excited about a Rush tour, and everybody's excited about Presto, the new album, as a matter of fact.
Well, I'm pretty excited about it. I can't remember the last time we, finished an album that felt really as comfortable with it as this one. I mean, the last couple of records we were very happy with. Not to slight those albums at all, but this one, we really, I think, again, because we had the break before and because we went in with such energy and everything seemed to click into place, and working with new people, there was a bit of nervousness about that, and the fact that it all did work out in the end, and as a matter of fact, it worked out ahead of schedule, which is always a nice surprise. I think it left everybody with a really good feeling, really confident, positive feeling about the album, and I think that feeling is kind of what's making us a bit itchy to go back on the road and tour some of these songs.
You're going to make a lot of people happy, just like Presto. So Presto, which is the magic of Rush, is also some acoustic work, maybe, Geddy?
Yes.
How about that?
Creeping acoustic guitars back in. It's been a while since we used them, and it's something we definitely wanted to do. And really, a lot of things on this album, we tried to go for kind of a less digitized and high-tech sound in a way, even though the overall production was done digital from beginning to end. But some of the instrumentation, namely acoustic guitar, acoustic piano, a lot of kind of what we call, I guess, organic instruments, and a lot more presence in the guitar area, and using keyboards and a lot of the synthesizers to do kind of a backdrop in and out the record as opposed to being up front.
I guess that makes it interesting, too, to do all this stuff live.
Yeah.
In the time that that you've changed labels and come out with this new album and all, I would assume that also you guys in writing for this album, was there something a little different about that? I mean, I know you guys did the same thing, but...
Oh, yeah, we wanted a slightly different approach.
Hold on. Look right.
Just a lot of the kind of things that have been building over the last, 5-6 years. But we're getting heavier and heavier into, writing with synthesizers and using a lot of computer writing things and a lot of programming and sequencers. And we really wanted to break away from that. So it's quite a reactionary record. And, we wanted to kind of pull the trio back in focus a bit so that, a lot of the energy and the kind of upfrontness of the sound was intentional. We wanted to go back to kind of a three-piece feeling with, of course, not avoiding synthes where we really feel it will enhance the song, as in that last song, Presto, where, towards the end of the song where we start bringing a few string sounds and things in, because it really feels like the song deserves that from time to time, but not as a focus, more as an enhancement and an orchestration.
And Geddy, when there isn't a set system with a group like Rush, is there? In other words, somebody, if Neil has some words or something, and then you look at the words, then do you guys start? Or sometimes you take melody to him and say, give us some words?
Exactly. We do it both ways.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Sometimes, the lyric seems so powerful to you that you want to write from the lyric. You want it to provide the inspiration for you to take some music and put that together. And other times you just want to have some fun and write some different kind of musical parts together. And then, once you get something that feels good, you say, here, we got this, it feels good, maybe you can stick something to it. So we do it both ways, and both ways are fun.
So actually a thought like Presto, which is a title you guys, as you mentioned earlier, had in mind for a long time, then that would require, you want to add some Hendrix sounds, and maybe Superconductor would be, you had this music in mind and all that. Right. Okay, give me a title for it, and he did.
Yeah, that's very right.
Is that the way that...
That's very accurate. Superconductor, it's kind of a riffy song, and it came out music first. We wrote the riffs first.
I did a good guess, Geddy, that's all.
You sure you're guessing? Where are you getting your information?
No. Some of the historical part about Rush that a lot of people don't realize is the greatest number of consecutive Billboard top 10 albums, a total of 7 Rush holes, consecutive, right in a row. This there's no problem with at all, but in my mind, in my ears, because I think Presto is just a great album, but more importantly, I think it has a whole lot of little different nuances and the depth and breadth and everything that everyone expects from Rush, and a lot of surprises and new stuff, and it's great.
Well, thank you. That's nice to say, and I really hope that holds true, because we put a lot of effort into this one, into the writing, and I really felt that the three of us as writers had kind of a breakthrough on this album, and we accomplished some things that we really have been learning how to do for a long time. I think we got lucky a couple of times.
Well, the other nice thing, Geddy, that you've come here with good information and good news for everybody is the tour. And so If you would, of course, our best to your other two buddies.
Absolutely.
And, of course, thanks for coming in and spending time with us on the World of Rock. And we'll be right back after this.